Hey y'all, it's Sierra, aka Capricorn Moon Goddess, back with another video for you all. This is a reading for the collective, so take what resonates, leave what does not. This is over a large group of people. This is not a personal or private reading, so some things may resonate, some things may not. If you are wanting a personal or private reading, you can check out the description box and you will be able to see how to book a private reading. All right, so this message is going to be for those who are wanting to get past blockages, whether it's a money block, whether it's a block with your intuition, your creativity, whatever kind of blockage you're dealing with, we're going to be taking a look to see how can you get past that, okay? So we are starting with the Three of Swords, the Fool card, the Justice card, so you could be a Libra or have that somewhere in your birth chart, the Three of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, as well as the Seven of Swords. All right, so this is letting me know that you all may have gone through a lot when it comes to not being able to rely on family, friends, people you felt like you should be able to rely on when it comes to your needs, okay? You may have gone through a hardship and you felt like you could not lean on your family or friends, people who should have been able to help you, people who you should have been able to call on. And so that has caused some, I guess I would say, resentment, okay? It started off as hurtful, okay, but it has caused some resentment. However, there are other resources you can tap into. We have the Three of Pentacles here. So I'm not sure if you have been able to tap into these resources or if you have already been able to find help through another person or another type of resource, but there are other resources out there. So some of you may feel like there is a blockage to resources, things that you need in order to move forward in life, okay? We have the Fool card here. So this is showing me there is a new start for you and people are going to get their karma, but you don't have to worry about it, okay? It's time for you to let go any resentment you might be holding on to when it comes to people not being there for you, people not showing up for you, people not allowing you to use their resources or whatever it was that they were able to do. Because this is people who had the resources, they had the money, the time, the strength, the contacts, whatever. They had the resources to be able to help you, okay? But for whatever reason, they decided not to. It's time for you to let go of that. We have the Eight of Swords here as well as the Seven of Swords. So this is what's creating the block, okay? The resentment that you're holding on to is what's creating the block, and it's rightfully so. These are people who should have had your back because most likely you had their back, okay? But it's time to let that go because it is creating a blockage from you being able to move forward to a space where you don't need them, okay? You don't need them, and you don't need anybody who was not willing to help you and be there for you. You thought you needed them, and they thought that you needed them as well. But you're getting ready to step into a space where you will be able to help so many people. You won't be the person that needs the help. You will be able to help others, okay? So we also have go outside. So some of you are needing to go outside and ground more. We have nature's signs here, okay? So some of you, you're needing to go touch grass, right? You're needing to go hug a tree, right? But if you don't want to do that, okay, because I'm still trying to psych myself up to take my feet off and put them in the grass. I live in the South. It's a lot of bugs in the South. We got fire ants in the South. I'm like, yeah, I'm not really trying to be stepping in the grass, but I do go outside as much as I can. I take walks. I go on nature trails. I try to be around as many trees as I can. I'm not going up to any trees hugging them yet, okay? I will let y'all know when I do that and what the experience is. I've only heard good things about people who go and hug trees, or I've only heard good things about their experiences. I haven't done that yet, but do something. Go to the beach, put your feet in the sand, put your feet in the water. Be careful in the water. It's a lot going on with the water these days. I don't know why so many people drowning in the water or maybe it's not a whole lot. Maybe we're just hearing about it more. Either way, be careful when it comes to the water, but water is a great way to ground as well. So some of you may be feeling you're having blocks with your intuition, or you're feeling like you just can't think straight. You can't find a solution to whatever it is that you're trying to manifest or bring to come to pass, right? Like, I couldn't even get out what I was trying to say. So there's like a lot of fog, a lot of brain fog that people are dealing with, and getting out in nature is always going to be one of the best options. So if you're able to do that, go outside, get the sunshine, feel the wind, okay? Feel the wind, all of that stuff, okay? Look at the different plants that are around you, what trees are around you. Become curious about what naturally grows around you in your area, okay? You don't know what kind of rabbit hole that could lead you down to, and you end up getting some sort of solution just by looking to see, like, what is growing around me. If you ever are outside and you see a plant or you see a tree and you don't know what it is, you can take a picture and Google image search it, and it will tell you exactly what it is. That may be a message for you. There may be a certain type of butterfly that flies by, a certain type of bird, something like that, that could be a message for you. A lot of the times our spirit team, they are talking to us. We feel like they're not talking to us. They're talking to us. We're just not catching on to the subtle signs, okay? So for a lot of you, going out in nature is going to do you very well. We also have divination, and we have healing. All right. Now, this is something to me, I find it controversial to talk about, but I'm just going to say it because it came up. Divination and healing. Some of y'all are too concerned with karmic readings. You're paying way too much attention to the karmic readings, but you're not balancing out with more healing readings. Make sure you're watching readings about your money, about things that you could do to enhance your spiritual gifts or to heal. If you're only watching karmic readings about what the karmic is doing and how they're trying to come at you and this and that and the other, you're creating more of that in your life. If you understand how the subconscious mind works, then you know that you cannot keep bombarding your subconscious with those messages, and you're not even trying to balance it out with other messages, okay? So when we consume content, we have to be very careful about what we are saturating our minds with. What are we overdoing, right? And even though it feels good to be able to listen to a karmic message, because it's basically letting you know that you're not crazy, right? Whatever you've been thinking is happening is happening. There's other people out there dealing with it, and there's other people who understand what you're going through. Okay, so I'm not saying you can't ever watch them. What I'm saying is some of y'all are watching it too much. You're overindulging in that. And if you understand how the subconscious mind works, then you're just recreating more of that. The more you watch it, the more you talk about it, the more you listen to it, you're creating more of that. So it's going to be a never-ending cycle. At a certain point, you're going to have to move on. What am I going to do to heal this? What am I going to do to get away from this? There's a time and a place for every type of emotion, right? So if you are feeling angry, if you are feeling frustrated, if you are feeling rageful, that can be useful. You can use that to create. You can use that to do a return to sender spell. You can use that to put into energy to protect yourself, right? But then you're going to have to let it go. Then you're going to have to let it go. If you're holding on to resentment and anger, and then you keep reactivating it by watching so many karmic messages, you're keeping yourself stuck, okay? It is what it is. And as a reader, some of us is getting tired of it too. We don't want to keep having to talk about karmic messages all the time, but a large majority of the collective is still there, where they just want to hear about what the karmic is doing. For some of y'all, that is what's keeping y'all stuck. That's what's blocking your money. And once you balance that out, we have the flourish card here. Okay, you'll be able to flourish. You'll be able to put that energy into doing something else, right? What else does the collective need to know? Let's see, what happens once they stop doing these things? Once they stop holding on to resentment, once they stop holding on to anger, once they stop worrying about what is the karmic doing and what is the karmic saying. I'm not talking about when you go get a reading and it just comes up, like a karmic message comes up. But if you're seeking that out every single day, you looking to see what is the karmic doing now? What are they doing now? That's what I'm talking about, okay? So once they stop doing this and start balancing their nervous system out, okay? Stop putting yourself in fight or flight for no reason. You can choose what energy you want to be in for the day. So the first thing you need to do when you wake up, it need to be something that's keeping you calm, that's keeping you relaxed, that's helping you to be able to think clearly, not something that's going to be triggering you and making you angry and upset, and you going through the rest of the day angry and upset. So once they stop doing this, what's going to happen with their finances? Yeah, we got 10 of Wands. You're bombarding yourself with negativity. Yes, you want to relate to people that's going through negative things, but at the same time, when are you going to move on? This is going to be a very this is unpopular opinion, okay? Unpopular, but I'm starting to get sick of having to do karmic messages just so I can get views on my stuff. Come on down. 2 of Cups is here. When are you going to start focusing on the good in your life? When are you going to start focusing on the people that are there for you instead of focusing on the people that's trying to work against you? If you're doing protection work, that's different, okay? Because you're pointing that energy and you're putting that energy somewhere where it needs to go. You're not holding on to it. But if you're just holding on to this energy and this resentment and this anger, and you're wondering why you're not moving forward, that's why. Time to let it go. 8 of Cups. Move on. Move on. What else? Yeah, because the 7 of Pentacles is here. You're planting those seeds constantly in your mind when you're karmic video, karmic message. What's the karmic doing? This person don't like you. That person don't like you. Like, I have messages like that. I have videos where I'm talking about what this person is doing to you and what that person's doing to you. It's going to come up. So I'm not saying you can't ever talk about it or watch it, but I'm saying if you start to become obsessed with karmic messages, there's a problem there. We have the Magician card. You can turn this around. It's not too late, okay? You can clear these blockages, whatever blockages you have the opportunity to clear it. We got the Fool and the Magician card. So you just have to be more cognizant of what you're feeding yourself. What are you feeding your mind and your intuition? If you want to get past money blocks, we got the 10 of Pentacles. What kind of content are you watching about money? A positive content, right? Are you watching content about investments? Are you watching content about how people turn their ideas into money-making ideas? What is it that you're putting in your mind? Are you learning about something that you feel like you could make money at? So if you have an idea, do you go and research it to figure out how to get it done, or do you just think about it all day, but you don't actually take the practical steps, right? We got Page of Wands here. So you guys are very creative. You have a lot of creative energy, okay? So make sure you're working to balance your sacral chakra as well as your solar plexus chakra. You have a lot of creative energy. Knight of Wands is here. You all have a lot of energy, but you may have been feeling tired or lethargic lately. And I'm telling you, it's because you're holding on to something. Just because you don't realize you're holding on to an emotion doesn't mean you're not. I had to learn this like a couple weeks ago because people always tell me I'm holding on to emotions. Like anytime I get a reading, they're like, you need to express your emotions. You need to express your emotions. And I'm like, I just cried last night. What are you talking about? And then someone brought up to me how our bodies hold on to emotion. So even though in my mind, I'm not holding on to that emotion, I released it. I don't feel that emotion. I'm not thinking about that emotion. I have the ability to compartmentalize stuff so I can be very focused on what I'm trying to focus on. So my body was holding on to emotion in my sacral chakra, but because I have a high pain tolerance, I really wasn't able to feel like the heaviness in my sacral chakra. But if you're really tapped into your body, you can feel when there's a certain area of your body holding on to emotion. So just because it's not in your mind, that doesn't mean that it's not still being held. Okay, you're still holding on to it, but it's in your body. Our bodies have memory. Okay, so I just started back doing EFT tapping. I'm about to start back learning about the meridians and the subtle body and doing energy work on the body, somatic therapy, all of that. Because for me, I don't really hold it in my mind, but I hold it in my body. So you could be feeling tired and you don't know why. It could be because you're holding on to resentment, anger, sadness, frustration, whatever, okay? So we have to get more in tune to our bodies, not just our mind, because our mind and our bodies are connected. And that is what we use to manifest, right? So yeah, Two of Wands is here. Two of Wands is great. Okay, so you all are going to be able to find that you have more energy, more stamina, because you're letting go of sadness. Look, sadness, frustration, resentment, being upset, being worried, being anxious. You're letting go of that. Mine, a big one that I deal with is guilt, okay? Guilt over not going down the traditional path of being a mom that's working a traditional job and all of that, right? I went down a non-traditional path, and sometimes it gets hard. This path of following your life journey, this path of following your soul purpose, it's hard. It's not easy, okay? I know a lot of people will make videos saying, I quit my job, and then 2 weeks later, I was making 6 figures. It's not like that for everybody. So I deal with a lot of guilt because my lifestyle changed. My son's lifestyle, and I'm talking about material things, it changed when I started walking more in my purpose. So you may not be holding on to anger or frustration. It could be guilt. It could be you're not feeling good enough. It could be insecurity. It could be regret. I be joking, but I be serious when I be like, why did I go down this path? Send me back to being a normal human being, right? I don't want to be on the spiritual path no more, right? Some of us have those emotions and we don't realize that it is creating the block. That is the block. Okay, the regret that you have is the block. The guilt that you have is the block. So you have to figure out how to release that from your mind and your body. Okay, and I'm talking about your physical body. We tend to talk about the energetic body a lot in the spiritual world, and sometimes we forget like our physical bodies are holding on to these emotions, and this is where a lot of sickness comes from. So once you're able to release those emotions, mind, body, and soul, right? Ace of Wands is here. This is where your new opportunities are going to be coming in. This is where you're going to feel like you have magic again. Like this literally could be like a magic wand. This is where you're going to feel like you're able to manifest. Some of y'all can't manifest the way you used to. I know I used to be able to manifest a lot quicker, and I've been like, what the heck is going on? So this message ain't just for y'all. This message is for me too, okay? You're going to feel magical again. You're going to have that magic wand again. And then we got the 4 of Wands. All these wands. Oh my goodness. Ace of Wands, 4 of Wands, Page of Wands, Knight of Wands, 2 of Wands, 10 of Wands, okay? It's a lot of energy here. A lot of literal energy. I'm not just talking about like energy in the spiritual form, but actual kinetic energy here. So you're going to feel reinvigorated. You're going to feel like a new person. You're going to feel like you have a passion for life again. Some of y'all don't have a passion for life anymore. You're going through the motions and you're just ready to get it over with, to be quite frank. We got the Star card. You're going to feel renewed here. You could have Aquarius somewhere in your birth chart as well, because the Star card does represent Aquarius. Some of y'all are very detached from your emotions. So like I said, I didn't realize that I was holding certain emotions in my body. You may not realize that as well. So don't be quick to dismiss this when I'm saying you could have regret, animosity, anger, frustration, sadness, resentment. Don't be so quick to dismiss it and be like, no, I don't. Okay? Because you might not have it in your mind, but your body could be holding on to it. That's how deep it could be buried into your subconscious. All right, what else? What else? King of Cups, Three of Wands, and the Page of Swords. Yep, some of y'all are learning how to tap into your emotions. Not just tap into them to use them or tap into them a certain way. Like, I used to be like, what are you talking about? I just cried last night. I've tapped into my emotions. I'm talking about where you can feel them in your body. So you may not be able to feel it in your mind, but your body could be holding on to it. We got the Three of Wands here. So something that you've been wanting is literally right there. That's the only thing that's stopping you. You need to release emotions. Okay? Let me see what else is here. And you need to, if you can't figure out what it is with this Eight of Pentacles, you need to work until you figure out what it is. Sit and think. Go ask other people. Go get a reading about that. Stop always, what is the karmic doing, this and that. Go get a reading about what emotions am I holding on to that I'm not aware of. What's in my subconscious that I'm not aware of. Because it's there. If it keeps coming up, it's there. Okay? What else for the collective? What will happen once they start to release these blocks? Some of y'all, we have astral projection here. Some of y'all may have been trying to astral project and you don't know what's stopping you, what's holding you back. It could be fear, okay? I know for me, that's what holds me back. I do a lot of astral traveling, but I don't do astral projection. And there is a fear that I have there because I watched this show called So Weird when I was younger, and she astral projected, and then like something was gonna happen to her body, like she was in danger. I think she was in a tree house. She astral projected and her body was about to fall out of the tree house. So ever since then, I've been like, heck no, I don't want to leave my body. What if something happened? Or what if some spirit try to get into my body while I'm gone or something like that? So that fear holds me back from being able to astral project. I can astral travel, but I'm trying to be Doctor Strange out here. I want to be doing what he was doing. I want to get out of my body. He literally was sleeping while his astral body was studying. I want to be able to do that. Okay, I'm in school. I want to be able to tap into that too. So you could have some sort of fear that's stopping you, but once you get past that, you may be able to astral project. We have higher self here, okay? So once you get past whatever emotion is blocking you, you'll be able to hear your higher self a lot quicker, a lot clearer, and you won't have all these different tests that keep coming up. How many times do we be saying, I'm tired of being tested? Every time I look up, it's a test, a spiritual test. You won't have as many tests with your finances. We got financial loss here. Okay, so get rid of whatever emotions. A lot of us are dealing with guilt and we don't realize it. I deal with mommy guilt all the time, trying to choose between raising my son and being spiritual and living in my life purpose. Sometimes those things butt heads, okay? That's going to create more stability for you with this Emperor card. Once you are able to get past guilt about your life purpose and your life path. The Emperor also represents Aries, okay? So Aries is the pioneer energy. You are meant to do things that other people in your family didn't do. Your friend group didn't do it. A lot of people in your generation didn't do it. So it seems like it's irresponsible sometimes. It seems like you should have just gone down the path everyone else went down, because it would have been a lot easier and you would have had more money for some of you. Some of you really feel like, wow, this spiritual path got me broke out here. It's supposed to be making me abundant and prosperous. What's happening? I understand. Okay. We have source and questionable paternity. So it's literally in the sense, because a lot of people feel like source is a male, or they refer to God as the father, just from the religious aspect. So some of you are even questioning, like, am I on the right path? Does God really hear me? The source, this universe, this whatever it's called, am I really connected? You all are going to find with this jackpot card here that you are connected. You will be getting very clear signs with your finances that you are connected to source, okay? But you have to get rid of whatever fear that you're having. Some of you could still have fears stemming from being in the church, because I was just talking about God the Father, right? So some of y'all still may be kind of having one foot in and one foot out when it comes to religion versus spirituality. So there may be some practices that you feel led to, or things that you feel led to do, but you're afraid to do it because you feel like it might be going too far. Like, you're able to distance a little bit from religion, but you might feel like some things are going too far. So that could be affecting some of y'all as well. Once you get past that, then everything is gonna be good. Yeah, we got helping hand here. So your higher power, your higher self, your spirit team, they are helping you, and they do want the best for you. Sometimes it feels like with all of these tests, right? We got tests. Sometimes it feels like they're just there to play games. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they just playing games with you. Like, why do I gotta go through all these tests? You know my heart. You know what it is that I want to do. You know how I want to help my community, help my family, help my bloodline. Ancestors, where y'all at? Can y'all show up? I know how it is, okay? But if you're able to identify those emotions, talk to your spirit team about it, release it, you will see that there's a release, okay? A release. And then you'll be able to trust them more. Some of y'all don't fully trust your spirit team, so you're not able to fully surrender to them so you can get what you want and what you need with ease without having to overwork, okay? We have ignite ambition. Pursue desires with drive and face consequences bravely. Keep an open mind as answers reveal your journey. See, this is the part we struggle with. Keep an open mind as answers reveal your journey. A lot of us struggle with not being able to have all the answers at once. We don't have the whole complete roadmap. It's like, as we are taking the steps that we need to take, more and more is being revealed to us. It's like we have an incomplete map, and it gets more and more filled out as we continue to take steps on our journey. So some of us are dealing with control issues, okay? That could be the emotion, wanting to be in control all the time, not being able to surrender, and all of that comes from not being able to trust, right? So that's the emotion you all could be dealing with. I've been doing Ho'oponopono lately because I met someone online and she does that. She teaches classes on it, and she was telling us that we need to identify certain words that we are struggling with, certain emotions that we're struggling with, certain vocabulary that we use that's self-deprecating or that speaks negativity over ourselves, and we need to use Ho'oponopono to get to the bottom of it, so that way we can erase it from our vocabulary, right? And then we can rewrite, or what do they call it? Law of assumption revision, okay? Revise our life story. So if you have felt like you were the black sheep all the time, maybe stop saying you're the black sheep. Maybe stop calling yourself the black sheep, okay? Identify the emotions and everything that makes you feel like you're the black sheep. Then release that. Let it go. Rewrite your story. You're not the black sheep. Everyone loves you. Okay? Everyone loves you, including your family and your friends, including your toxic family and friends. They don't hate you. They love you. They adore you. They do everything possible, everything in their power to make sure that you're okay, to make sure that you're good, to support you, okay? So yes, we have to identify what we're going through. We have to identify how we've been treated. And that's where a lot of the karmic messages come in. They help us to identify what we're dealing with, what we're going through. They're helping us to make us realize that we're not alone, that we're not crazy. Because some of us, we have family and friends that try to make it seem like we're crazy for pointing out the way that we've been mistreated. That's where those karmic messages come in. But after a while, you're going to have to release those emotions and then revise, okay? Rewrite your life the way you want it to be. Stop constantly thinking about what you don't want. Don't keep ruminating on the past. Figure out how to release it. So I've been doing Ho'oponopono. I just started. Hopefully I said it right, y'all, okay? I'll let y'all know how that goes, if it works for me, because what I realized when it came to the revision aspect, I realized I was being a little bit childish because I kind of was like, I don't want to revise. I don't want to uh change history. I don't want to write down that all the people that worked against me that really love me and they care for me and they adore me, because I want them to deal with their karma. Right? If I revise it and that changes my reality, then will they get punished? Like, I was being kind of childish thinking about it that way. But why should I care if I'm able to revise? Because in law of assumption, it's thought that you can revise your history. Okay, you can rewrite the past and revise the past, so that way your present changes. Right? It changes in the present. It doesn't necessarily change the past. We're not going in a time machine going back and changing the past, but we're revising the past so that in the present we can see the results that we want to see. If we don't want to deal with toxic family members being able to hold us back anymore, let's go and rewrite that and revise that, so now in our present life people approach us differently. It's kind of hard to explain, so if you don't already understand law of assumption or revision, you can look up Neville Goddard and look up revision technique and all that to try to figure it out. I can't explain it in this video. A part of what y'all are going to have to do if y'all want to be able to move past some of these blockages, people shouldn't have to always explain everything to a T to you. If I say something and you think it's interesting and you want to know more, go look it up, go research it, go figure it out on your own so you can come to your own understanding. Okay, so I gave y'all the name Neville Goddard revision. Okay, you can also look up Joe Dispenza. A lot of people like Joe Dispenza as well, but figure some of this stuff out. Okay, because some of it's too complex to be trying to explain it all in a reading. I got to move on to the next thing. We have rising flames. Let your passion guide you to the fulfilling purpose meant for you. It's like you're meant to walk in your purpose, and your purpose is connected to what you're passionate about. So a lot of you are leaving the workplace, you're being fired, you're being mistreated, you're having to quit because of all of the stress, the pressure. Some of it is literally making you sick being in the workplace because you're not supposed to be there. That's not in alignment with your passion and with your life purpose. But we want to be there because we have bills to pay. Okay, we don't want to be there, but we want to be there. It's like I'd rather be miserable at work but still have money than to be a hippie over here following my life purpose, traveling, this, that, and the other, and I gotta depend on other people, or I don't have the money to get what I want and what I need. So I'd rather deal with being stressed out the rest of my life, but at least I got money, right? So some of you are dealing with guilt, like I said, from having to follow your purpose, and it's creating a lot of changes in your life that you may not be comfortable with. So now you're trying to find equilibrium, you're trying to find balance again. A lot of things may have been very chaotic because you decided to be the one to break the generational curses, to try to build generational wealth, and to speak up against things that should not have been going on, things that you should not have had to deal with as a child. Okay, so yeah, the guilt is a strong emotion that a lot of you are having to work on, and you may not have been able to identify that that's what it was. If you feel anxious about having to constantly work all the time, or if you feel anxious because you don't get things done in a certain time frame, or you feel like you have to constantly stick to this schedule, all of that stuff is like Saturn. It's Saturn type energy. So you may, like, I'm going to revise my relationship with Saturn. I'm going to revise my relationship with Saturn to be one that's loving, supportive, and rewarding. Because Saturn rewards. A lot of people talk about how Saturn limits, but Saturn also rewards. And I have a Capricorn stellium, so I have Saturn so many places in my birth chart. I have kind of hated Saturn. I'm not going to lie. I just felt like Saturn was ruining my life. But I'm going to revise my relationship with Saturn, and then I'll come back and let y'all know how that works, right? So I'm taking my own advice here. And I realized when I said Saturn, I had put my hands across my chest. So it's kind of like I want to have that loving, relationship with Saturn. But how many people do you hear talk about Saturn in that way? I mean, Saturn is a scary planet, okay? So some of y'all may have been dealing with a lot of issues from Saturn or from Mars because there is so much fire. Look, there's 2 cards with fire. And then we had so many wands. So fire, fire, fire. You could be a fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. But revise your relationship with whatever parts of your life seem to be harsh, seem to be hard, okay? The people in your life that give you the most trouble, your job, your family, money, guilt, walking in your purpose, your children, whatever it is, relationships, revise it. And sometimes that's going to cause people to disappear. So don't be upset if people start ghosting you once you start revising your story. Because once you start revising your story, if they can't reach that level of vibration that they need to be on in order to be in your life, in order to fit in the story, they're going to have to go. So if you see more people fall off once you start revising your story to be the one that you want it to be, don't be alarmed. Cavern of Secrets. Unveil the hidden wonders within the shadowy depths of enigmatic secrets and concealed wisdom. So this might be, I don't know, I'm hearing 12th house or 8th house. I don't know what the 12th house or 8th house is about, but whatever it is in astrology, maybe you want to look there to see what's going on there. But some of you, you're the outcast because you have divulged certain secrets that people did not want to get out. Okay, so you can rewrite that. I'm not the outcast anymore. People appreciate me for talking about things that were difficult to talk about. The secrets that I have exposed have helped to heal my family dynamic or the work dynamic or whatever. We have to start using our words more wisely. And I know a lot of us go around saying that, but are we really practicing that? And if we have to use the words that we speak wisely, doesn't that mean that we need to be wise about the words that we hear, about the story that we're being told? So we're constantly talking about karmics and listening to karmic stories and stuff. What do you think that's doing? It's pointless for you to sit here and speak positivity over your life if all you're going to do is listen to negativity. So it's time for a lot of us to grow up. I know we want to hear about the karmics and we want to hear about they gonna get into this trouble and that trouble and they're coming against us and blah, blah, blah. But after a while, who cares what they're doing? Focus on what you want, not the people from the past, okay? And as a reader, we would appreciate it if we could pull the collective energy and it's focusing on healing. And not karmics, okay? Karmic is a part of it. I'm not saying that never watch a karmic reading, but everybody's on different levels of healing. Some people are just now discovering what a karmic is and all of that, so they need those. But if you know dang well that you don't need to hear nothing else about them and what they got going on, it's time to focus on what you want. Stop focusing on what you don't want. If it's not necessary. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's not. If you go get a private reading and it's a general reading and karmic stuff come up, that means you're supposed to hear that. But if you're purposely going online trying to find karmic readings, you're doing that to yourself at that point. If you just so happen to come across on your timeline or something, at this point, I don't even care if it's on my timeline. I'm not watching it. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to hear about that. So my readings, yes, I'm going to do some karmic readings and stuff, but I really want to focus more on healing. I really want to focus more on psychology, on healing. I'm in school for psychology now. I'm in school for trauma-informed therapy. I've talked about a lot of psychology before on my page. Like, I want to focus on the healing aspect. So I feel like my page has suffered because I don't want to play the game and always talk about karmics all the time. So I don't get as many views, but I'm going to try to stick to what I'm being told to do. I am going to talk a lot about mother-daughter dynamics, and I know that that is going to upset some people. It already has upset some people. So will I be talking about like karmic situations and stuff? Yes. Especially focus on mother-daughter dynamics, toxic family dynamics, because it's information that needs to get out there, but I'm going to do my best to balance it out. So I'm going to talk about it, but then I'm going to talk about the solutions. I'm going to talk about how we can all move on and evolve. So we're all just trying to find a balance in life. Everything is about balance. And a lot of the people that are drawn to my messages, you overwork. You do a lot of overworking. And I don't know what you're trying to overcompensate for, but that's what the emotion is that you need to find. Why are you trying to compensate with overworking? We have gentle release. Let yourself surrender to the flow, life's mysterious currents. Okay, well, part of it is we don't like mysterious. We like to know what's going to happen. We like to be in control. Mysterious is the opposite of control because I don't know what's going to happen. So some of y'all have to figure out why you feel the need to be in control. Why is it hard for you to go with the flow? Why is it hard for you to receive with ease? Okay, and I guess you feel like if you can overwork, then at least you're in control, right? At least you know that you're going to get X amount of money or whatever if you're overworking yourself. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this there. So I'm going to be doing more videos on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, follow me on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, follow me on TikTok. I go live on TikTok. So I mostly upload videos on YouTube and then I go live on TikTok. So you can follow me on TikTok if you want to catch me live. I do a lot of personal readings live on TikTok as well. So I would love to see you over there if you're following me on YouTube, and vice versa. If you're following me on TikTok, follow me on YouTube as well. I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope y'all have a great day. Toodles.